frankly, in the bottom right, he's one of the greatest of all times, and he absolutely is expected to go 3-0 through this Swiss group stage. It's Serral.
In the top left, good luck, buddy. He is the Red Terran BattleB.
Yeah, good luck, buddy. I have no idea what he's going to bring out. I honestly feel like it's not even going to be as much about what he does versus Serral could potentially just go for like roaches and just play like a roach style. Kind of be a bit aggressive initially, and if he sees a killing move, just go for it, and if not, he can just play like a pretty solid roach mid game as well into Banes and more macro if he needs to, but I just think that from Serral would be terrifying in the first place, because then as BattleB you're always consistently defending and on the back foot a little bit, and that's already uncomfortable, and Serral's just going to be super safe apparently as well with gas pool. Obviously this could be aggressive, but it also means that he's going to be safe in case of a proxy racks or anything along those lines.
Yeah, should be aggressive with that gas, but you're right, in case this was a 2-racks, I'm sure he's quite wary of, then it would also be fine. I'm sure Serral is, you know, he doesn't like to brag, but I do think he has an accurate, for the most part, interpretation of his skill. Maybe a little down on himself when he gets to the finals. He's like, maybe I won't win. You're like, okay. but no, in most cases, I think he knows that he is the heavy favorite, and as such, the other player can sometimes try to cheese him. Doesn't really work out too often, and I actually don't think BattleB is the type to do that too often. I don't cast a lot of BattleB, but when I do, it does seem to be mostly just trying to stay on a very straight and narrow, decent Terran play, which respect to him, and sometimes it is even, you know, highlight worthy. Some nice micro certainly can happen from BattleB, but Serral, as you were saying, kind of like no wrong choice. You could be defensive and win, you could be aggressive and win by setting them off and taking away their power of any aggressive nature. Like, it's like whatever Serral wants to do, right? In this case, it is just faster ling speed, not too cheesy.
No, not too cheesy, just faster ling speed, and you can take some control, maybe poke around a bit. Yeah, I mean, what do we have out from BattleB? A single Marine right now. Obviously going straight to the reactor here with the factory, with the command center first. We'll get that set for the factory and get some Hellions out as well eventually, but until then, we just wait around, see if Serral can do anything with these first few lings. The timing should be... Oh, yeah, I mean, ling speed's what, about 15-ish, 20 seconds away, so I guess we get a little bit of a ling run into the natural before BattleB has Hellions available, but only just. Yeah,
it's not going to be that big of a deal. I mean, honestly, with the way this is set up, you know, only 4 lings with speed, maybe going to get 1 SCV, maybe the mule, I guess, yeah, the mule.
Yeah, the mule. No wall, though, and only 1 Marine.
Okay. It's chaos,
yeah.
But, you know, considering that Serral went for gas pool opener versus BattleB's command center first, and, well, his 3rd CC just got scouted, it's a bit a bummer. Like, we would usually say this is really great even still. You know, chaos aside, that might not make up for the actual openers being as drastically different as they are. But again, it's Serral, so I just, like... I'm not going to, like pinpoint things. I'm not going to, like, really detail orient myself. It's just like, well, overall, Serral should probably still win.
It's one of those things. It's exactly that, right? If this was BattleB versus maybe not quite as powered up of a Wayne or so, you know, then we may be like, oh yeah, great start for BattleB, right? But it's versus Serral. You need more than this to have a great start versus Serral. So yeah, I will just wait to be convinced by what BattleB does and see what he gets up to. I mean, Viking on the way, as he obviously mentioned, the 3rd CC as well, scouted immediately. Serral's going to re-scout with this Overlord as well. Wants to check on whether this is mech maybe straight away. Viking will show itself. You will notice that this factory over here is obviously not with a add-on or anything, and obviously that is the factory from before, already finished. So you can tell that that's moved off of Hellion production, which should be a pretty good indicator that this is quickly into barracks beyond this, because if you were playing mech or anything, you would have just kept building Hellions. So while he doesn't see anything else, I think Serral gets the scout he's actually looking for anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think it's wise to be wary of potential battle mech. I believe BattleB has played mech before.
Yeah.
So, and battle mech's kind of making a little bit of a resurgence. It's definitely in the pocket of a lot of Terrans nowadays. But then, again, I feel like Serral would have been fine even if battle mech has been proven to be tricky. It is bio, and BattleB can be good with bio. I just talked about that. But Serral is better and Serral has all the information necessary. Very little to worry about either, since it is only this many Hellions. Which overall I like for BattleB. I think he's choosing to go to the one extreme, right? Which is the extreme in this case is macro. So he is still trying to play as a bit of an underdog. Choose one extreme, super aggressive or super macro. It just, there's nothing to convince us that he actually has a chance yet. We're going to see how that first engagement goes.
Yeah, first engagement is going to be a pretty telling sign of maybe what to expect, what is to come. Evolution Chambers go down here from Serral. He's playing very safe. Left first, Baneling Nest, get Bane speed. Evo Chambers and upgrades a bit further down the line, just getting the necessities to be absolutely secure and surviving. BattleB moves up to 5 racks, also just playing extremely normally. You know, I would say more so than expected, because even if this is typically what he does, usually when you're against Serral, you do something a bit different, because playing straight up and down the beaten path doesn't usually work. That's why Serral is so freaking good.
Yeah, as much as you are going to one extreme when you go for something like fast 3cc, you know, no Hellion Banshee right into barracks type situation, it just doesn't have the same type of drastic difference that obviously a 2 or 3 racks would. Like, yeah, maybe you do get ahead, but you don't get like so far ahead, especially if it is scouted relatively quickly. So yeah, you set yourself up in a good position. This might be where BattleB is comfortable, but it's not that he has 20 extra Marines that suddenly Serral can't account for. It's not that big of a deal. And the first engagement is about to happen. We'll see how the micro goes. It's not going to be very much, just some creep spread cleared up. Serral even has a good idea as to the tempo of the engagements as well, since he saw that it was a tech lab on the factory and even rescouting it. He sees that's still the case, so he knows he doesn't even worry about like Widow Mines or like a super aggressive drop everywhere type of Clem fastness. I mean, there's no tanks even with this push, so it really is just to clear up creep.
Yeah, being able to identify what you're playing against and the expectations of what you're playing against goes a long way. You see tanks, Marines continue to work their way down to the bottom into the center here. And with the melee upgrades continuing through, the Overlord speed coming up, Serral just continuing to process himself into that better and better position. BattleB, just 5 racks, 3 bases, 66 SCVs. He's just going to keep on pushing from this point, it seems. Currently putting everything into this, not even starting 2-2, even with that army. We'll see if he gets to that at some point. Gonna jump on a couple of queens, but there's also a link counterattack, and there's nothing on the ground right now from BattleB. He's gonna have to turn some Marines around in medevacs, and Serral is just gonna start fighting those and clearing those up as well, so that's not even gonna act as a defense.
Serral does need to buy some time. As much as Serral probably figured this was going to be the way of things, first the creep spread removal, then the tank push down the center of Gressfon. It's just what people do. It still can be difficult to deal with. He's going to have to wait for those upgrades. In particular, he's actually coming in a bit sooner than that, but he is going to try and get that surround. So far, the Baneling's not making the connections, but they are going to be just overwhelming numbers. So BattleB is going to be forced to evacuate all before 1-1 was really done. So maybe not the best timing ever, but Serral does complete the first round of cleanup and does have his own very solid setup. 5 bases, 75 drones, plenty of Banelings left over to not worry about being pounced upon. He just needs to get that creep spread back out, which is going to require another Terran cleanup.
Yep, absolutely. As our Bio is going to push up this ramp, we see the Hatchery taking some shots. Queens continue to drop down as well, losing a couple of them. Serral is again on the counterattack. He is looking to clean up reinforcements, potentially, you know, if he can, knock down the mineral line on that base, but that's not going to, not going to come to that. He's actually going to turn these units around and now flank into this army, stop these Marines from kiting away as easily. The Widow Mine doesn't do much, the tank abandoned, and BattleB just has to retreat out of here.
He's not really been getting the absolute pristine surround. He has missed Banelings on the surrounding army 2 times, right? Not enough Banelings on the left side and then the north side in that particular battle. So BattleB has been able to spread out his Marines and actually stay stickied to this side of the map, which is really annoying for the Zerg, right? Because they just can't get the creep spread to really take super convincing battles, which gives BattleB a little bit of hope. If he can continue with this momentum, perhaps get 2-2 slightly faster, doesn't look like that'll be the case, and make sure not to die to run buys, then maybe he could still pressure Serral and find victory with a decent tank shot or Widow Mine shot. But it looks like the momentum is actually done as soon as I talk about it. BattleB has to leave. He has to give up the position. And now Serral is, honestly, it feels like even in a dominating position. Supply's not that bad. Serral doesn't have a hive quite yet. But now that BattleB has lost any form of being like around Serral's bases, now that he's way off to the side, I don't think Serral has to worry anymore.
I don't think I've ever seen Serral float as many minerals for so long without being like maxed out or something, or like having a reason to. He's been at like 700 to 1,000 for like 30 seconds or more, right? And like at first I was like, does he have lava? And it was like, oh, 15. And then he spent it, and he still had like 600 minerals. I was like, oh man, like Serral is, you know, he's being caught up on these fights. He's having to be kept busy, and usually you don't notice that for Serral because he's just such a fast player. It doesn't matter to him. But yeah, it has had an impact here in BattleB, bringing the pressure and doing decently when it comes to trading out on the other side and so on. I do think without Serral's counterattacks time after time, BattleB might have found a little bit of an edge in this game, but yeah, the longer that Serral survives, the more convincing it gets for him. He's on his way to that Hydra Den. Hive on the way up now too. The later the game goes, the more excited I get for Serral. Obviously, I think that's just naturally said, but I will just say that I'm, very happy with how BattleB is set up so far, and he's definitely shown us, he can at least bring a bit of a challenge. He's making Serral at least, work for it a little bit.
Yeah, very much so. You're correct to point out some of the macro mistakes that wouldn't be so common from Serral if he really was feeling super confident and super comfortable. Nope, BattleB definitely made him a little uncertain. Once again, though, we're going to have that big surround. This time, Banelings were on almost every single side, and that is going to be a cleanup. That's also because BattleB had some army off to the bottom right, which kills that very injured hatchery from earlier. That seemed almost inevitable. That was still in the red. But nice of BattleB to collect that and, of course, escape with his army as well. Serral really not having the most ideal game ever. He's missed macroing. He's later to the hive than he probably wanted to be, and he just lost a third base, but he is still keeping his head above water, so plenty of lean baneling to work with, getting into his upgrades as well, and BattleB actually a little bit later to his. And then, of course, those Vipers will help out against some of the maybe the Medivacs and Liberators, at least get the Abducts to take them out of their liberation mode. This is a nasty position if BattleB can actually unload his bio here.
Yeah, Serral's doing a good job of stopping BattleB from setting up alongside the Liberators on that low ground. And that is going to be important for him as Serral gets a few extra bane lanes on the way up. Hydras continue to pour out. We have yet to see the Lurker Den, right? So just not seeing that just yet. Just focus on +3 melee, the couple of Vipers. That's our Hive Tech units for the moment. Still trying to utilize those. As with Liberators here, Vipers definitely do go a long way. Like you say, just a couple of Abducts on them can really help to throw them off of position and give yourself a bit of a better chance, as Ling's going to go flying up to the top of the map.
To be a successful run by the looks of it. Snow Woodamine's burrowed. The army can, of course, come back, but then that also is still a successful run by that forces BattleB to let Serral breathe. But BattleB doesn't pull back entirely, still looking to abuse this position. Here are the Vipers to abduct the Liberators, and they actually might even get killed thanks to a couple of Queens, only one of them so far. This is a nasty position. BattleB is really being fast enough to hold this position, while Serral is the one that has to be scared of it, Like, this isn't him just throwing armies at Serral hoping that something sticks. BattleB is actually cementing himself and forcing Serral to take really dangerous fights, especially as some of these Woodamines pop off.
Man, a couple of those mines were just about to come off cooldown as well, and if they had come off cooldown, that could have also been dangerous, and even more dangerous than this is. Serral's supply is down by 20, and BattleB working his way around this right-hand side, looking to keep up the fights. That Liberator maybe not the most inspiring of positions. Now we get an Abduct on the other. That's not going to do much either, but we take down a few more Banelings. These few Hydras need to be careful as well. And Serral is struggling to get back up there when it comes to supplies.
Yeah, exactly. BattleB is not just carelessly throwing away army, hoping that it looks impressive, but isn't really doing a whole lot. It's doing a ton. Serral is once again having trouble with the macro as well, as Queen's having to constantly be pulled to the front lines, used for, just general defense, and then having the only thing to take care of the Liberators. Now that Hydras are here, where is the Queen? Count at 5. That's still not a lot, and they clearly are missing some injects. Serral having trouble beating just this one Liberator, to be honest, as the army keeps on unloading underneath it. I think finally Serral will be able to take care of it. There we go. But BattleB's supply is still looking strong.
Yeah, he's competitive, right? It's equal supply throughout all of this. Serral is trying to get his way towards Lurkers, and, BattleB really found a way to keep the momentum up at a phase where I really felt like it was the momentum stopper, right? Serral was getting into the Hive Tech, you saw the Hydras pouring out. That's usually when the Terran has to stop these attacks, but BattleB kept it going and just continues to work his way back into this central area. Would love a scan, knock down these couple of active tumors. See a good parasitic bomb that's going to slowly chip through those Medivacs. We need to split that away, because Medivacs are important to keep up. That's one thing which if you lose out on, Serral is absolutely going to be happy to see those dropping down.
Honestly, very impressed with BattleB. He is playing a very difficult style, very light on the factory, and I'm with you. I think there is multiple points in this game where I just kind of assumed that Serral was going to have too much time to breathe. Whenever BattleB wasn't in this particular position, I was like, well, that's Serral getting his footing. That's Serral being, the Serral that we know. But then BattleB would still be able to pressure, still be able to actually threaten the King Zerg here. And while now he is once again being pushed back, it is with a hefty supply, so it's not actually a full-on retreat. It is temporary. Serral takes what he can get, including another parasitic bomb, has definitely thinned out the medevac numbers, but is not going to be able to engage any further. He has to pull back, maybe get some lurkers to help out here. It looks like he already has a couple, 6 more, and this will drastically change the pacing of the game. BattleB's been playing really well with nothing but bio units, but you cannot indefinitely use bio units against lurkers. All right, they're gonna get to 15 lurkers and spread them around. Bio will not defeat that.
Yep, instantly, the moment he gets hit by lurkers, goes to Academy. Straight down from BattleB. He knows he can't just keep on doing what he's been doing beforehand. And this might finally be that turning point which we've expected, maybe a bit biasedly because it's just Serral. We've expected this to happen before now. I think this time it definitely might, as we get a cancel bottom left. And for the first time in a long time, BattleB backs away without, in my eyes, any real intention of coming back forward. He comes forward again now, but I'm not sure how much I like it. The lurkers are here. He still doesn't have a proper answer to them. Let's see what he can do. He's going to run very far forward, going to lose a couple of the mines before they get a chance to burrow. So yeah, Serral's going to jump on this, and this looks a lot more like what we were kind of expecting throughout this game.
BattleB is moving over into Ghost, though, so he's not locked, bio-locked, I guess we'll call it. So he's got a chance to play out now the other way of TPZ, right? The super defensive, super turtle, Ghost style. I mean, if he wants to, actually. I say that because we do have a lot of Terrans doing that as soon as Ghosts make an appearance. They get back on their bases, they protect their bases, they wait for the Zerg to kill themselves. But I know Beyond is still very aggressive with mass bio Ghosts in a game like this, and it seems like BattleB is trying to replicate that, but is he as good as Beyond? Maybe not. He is absolutely making Serral sweat in this TVZ. Big old Doom drop into the main base. Parasitic Bomb again, helping to thin out the medevac numbers, but the rest of the bios needs to be dealt with. It absolutely will be. Doom drops versus Zerg just put you on a creep after all, so Baneling's very effective there. And Lurkers did get to the other side of the map. BattleB, where are those Ghosts? Running headfirst into the Lurker spines.
Yeah, not quite as pretty as we wanted to, but Widow Mines are helping to get some final kills there. The Doom drop is still lifting up and trying to keep on moving Serral around. BattleB is back into supply lead, but Serral has money to spend. Another parasitic bomb, and these medevacs are getting dangerously low. They're all starting to drop, and that's been a cleanup that Serral's been working on for a long time. And now that these medevacs are gone, we actually only have 5 on the map, which seems like an okay amount, but it's really not that many compared to what BattleB's been working with. And it is going to, if he wants to replace medevacs, take up Liberated production, which obviously could be quite good at this point. Help against the Lurkers, for example. So, just a lot of different things going on.
And BattleB's probably losing steam on the economy too, right? Serral has mostly been favored as a Zerg player usually would be, but it's really now massively favored on that graph because BattleB's just running out of steam. He's lost a couple of SCVs, sure, but it's more that he just doesn't have as many minerals to mine from. So he needed to expand even more behind this. He needed to already be on his 6th base and maybe even moving into that 7th to still keep up the type of trades that he was going for. Now locked up in his own choke against a couple of approaching Lurkers, more Banelings coming through as well. Actually, the choke works against the Banelings, to be honest, but the Banelings still did their job. They just killed all the Widow Mines. So, and the 3rd CC also went down. Does look like Serral is ultimately going to win this game, but in almost 19 minutes of action, I mean, BattleB must be exhausted, but he definitely showed his best TVZ that he could.
I mean, you talk about players kind of feeling it and stuff. This was it for BattleB, right? Like, he played his heart out. There was moments in these games that's like, okay, Serral time, right? And then BattleB's like, watch this. And he split like a god away from Banelings and kept up pressuring. And even towards the end, he's like, oh god, Lurkers, like, he's finally got there. What can I do? And he went into, like, over-aggro mode, which I didn't hate. Like, he got the Ghost Academy started, and he's like, okay, I'm going to need time, though. So he starts a Doom drop, right? He does all of these things that add up to like being like, oh yeah, you kind of needed to do something along these lines because otherwise Serral just makes Lurkers and goes across the map and ends the game. BattleB did everything he could to make Serral's life as difficult as possible, and at a lot of points earlier, I think you could have said that BattleB was potentially on the verge of winning against most other Zergs in the world. He's 1-0 up. It's the Serral factor. Serral once again has shown us why he's so good. Even when he's on the ropes, he's able to maintain position. But that just says so much about how good BattleB has just been there.
Yeah, to not breach that last inch is you can't really be sad about that. There is a reason that Serral is a world champion and considered one of the best, and to even get close to taking him down in a very mechanically demanding matchup that was set up as mechanically as possible too, is extraordinary. Because if again that was like a cheese going awry or something like that, like a real dedicated roach rush gets killed, we're not as impressed. But that was well, it was an early pull to be fair, but still, it was as mechanically well set up as possible for an extended macro TVZ. And BattleB, yeah, almost won with it. So super impressed by him. Let's see if he can replicate that on Royal Blood. In the top right, still overall up 1. It is Serral.
Taking on our Red Terran in the bottom left-hand side, it is BattleB. Get excited about him. He's playing well.
Yeah, very well. I do think that Serral, with how close it ended up being, now I guess we can go back to what we were first talking about back in the first 4 minutes, which is that Serral did kind of hurt himself. He didn't punch himself in the face as much as he maybe got multiple paper cuts. Like it did hurt, but it wasn't totally devastating, because at the end of the day, I do think Serral is going to be better, just able to pull out these victories that makes him a champion. There is always that kind of almost X factor on top of all of the practice, right, that gives him good mechanics. So, yeah, it just was, it hurt a little bit, but overall it was Serral playing some of, his standard stuff when it came to the mid game, and he still had trouble. So BattleB, let's see if he's going to think about going for just pure macro again. And if he does, Serral this time around will not have those multiple paper cuts or whatever you want to talk about. He's going to go into a more normal opener.
Yes. I think just play standard. Like, the thing is, Serral, I think last game was like, okay, I'll be a bit safe because my follow-up can just be, I'll be fine, right? As long as I don't die super early, I'm probably good. And now he's probably a bit more like, okay, safe, standard, solid, nothing too crazy. Let's not, I can defend things if I need to with hatchery first. Let's not just try and get the free win or whatever, and let's just set up well for the next stage, because BattleB can obviously bring the pressure. This is just going to be a Reaper expand from him this time around. The SCV scout to ensure Serral isn't up to anything too crazy, because that gas pool last time could have been a super fast roach drone, and if BattleB kind of picks up on the faster link speed from last time, maybe he's like, well, if you do that again, maybe you get more aggressive, you try and punish me. So the SCV scout just allows him to double check that Serral isn't going down any of those aggressive pathways.
What's weird about this too is that BattleB, I think, really was I don't think we were wrong to predict the way that we predicted. We were ultimately wrong, but I don't think, anyone can really blame us for saying Serral is the absolute winner, BattleB has to be playing as the underdog, so on and so forth. But now, after such a close game, BattleB can kind of have the confidence that he might not have had to play a little bit more middle of the road. The 1 Rax Reaper expand with an SCV scout might not seem like a whole lot, and he is still 3CCing, so he's still, going that direction. But if we were like, you got to be as extreme as possible, dude, you got to just full send it macro or full send it aggression, BattleB's saying, no, actually, I think I can take this guy on in a more very normal, respectful game.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, absolutely going to give it a try, right? He's obviously not one of these guys that wants to do something kind of, all in or so. He's like, okay, that was good, that was fun. Let's give it a go on round 2. Let's see what we can do, and drops down the factory onto the reactor, get a few Hellions out here, most likely. Start making that progress as our starport's just about halfway through. And that will obviously help us to progress. There's these couple of Lings, though, just being very annoying. The Reaper was on the other side of the map, and it did, in fairness, pick off a Ling, the Reaper. But yeah, these 2 Lings get to see everything and just have the Marine running around silly this entire time.
Disappointing, especially because it's SCV. Ling speed. All right, well, that is disappointing. Again, that full scout, I guess it doesn't technically see everything. Theoretically, BattleB could still go into mech, for instance, but still, you want a little more apprehension from the Zerg instead of just letting the Ling in, obviously, and BattleB has missed out on that in both games. I did throw out the word battle mech. Is it a word? Is it 2 words? Is it hyphenated? Whatever. But it does seem like it's not. It's just going to be into that bio, and after that display of last game, I would not mind it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind something a little bit kind of different and aggressive. We do see Stim starting up, though, and it's just going to be that bio style. Our Reapers and Hellions are poking around, looking at those few queens. Obviously, just seeing if there's any creep teamers to get rid of. Queen split is pretty good, though. Serral absolutely not the kind of player to leave an opening for Hellions to dive by early in the game, so yeah, no surprise there. His defense is good. That's exactly what you expect of Serral. Lair on the way. We are going to go up to... we start Hellion number 7 right now, so probably 8 Hellions here from BattleB will allow him to maintain a good amount of map control through the early stages.
It will. I wonder if he's going to do anything interesting, like add on a faster armory, too. Just to throw out something a little bit different. Typically, when it goes to 3cc, the fear of anything prior to your first Marine medevac push out is non-existent. Like, that's just like, you see 3cc, you don't see Banshees, too, with a Ling Scout, and you're like, oh, I'm going to wait for the medevac drop. But then suddenly the Hellbats get added in, and it can be a surprising punch, but that is not what BattleB is doing. Currently, what BattleB is doing is actually misplacing his 3rd CC. I don't know if you caught that in the minimap, but it's not landing. Oh, it went forward first. I don't know what it was hotkeyed to.
Just having a bit of a fly around scouting zombie grub. He's just making sure there's nothing about to hit me here, right? Safest 3cc round ever.
No, there's no way he would have checked for an overload. He has a Viking. Yeah, nope, yep. Or Liberator at least.
I don't think so.
What was it hotkeyed to then? I mean, he could have just literally lifted it and just sent it like literally anywhere on the map, and I guess
maybe
that's
he just lifted and clicked and wanted to go back to it later to place it, like if he was doing it on the minimap or something, where he was like watching Hellions.
Oh sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, on the minimap. That's true. That's true.
The best guess I have.
Yeah, we're just going to guess on this one, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of things not going, I think, as well for BattleB, and I know it's really small, but the Lings got it in again, and then these Hellions haven't done anything, but that's kind of expected. Libra hasn't done anything, maybe also expected. But the 3rd CC being lifted and not landed immediately has taken away that 3rd SCV of production. Even if you're not sending SCVs over yet, it's still at least doing that, and I do believe SCVs are supposed to be sent over. And I also have noticed more supply blocks from BattleB. Not extreme supply blocks, but just like a half a supply depot type of supply block.
Just the little things that add up, right? And when you're playing against Serral and you expect Serral's macro to be perfect on point, your macro kind of has to be in the same, in the similar vein. Otherwise, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So just maybe not as clean from BattleB this time around. And Serral just sitting back, working on melee upgrades. Infestation Pit is not far from finishing either, so we have a fast way into that hive as well once again for Serral here. That's a super fast hive. That's where we're going to go. Just play Pureling Bane into Ultras. Wow.
7-minute hive. He's totally right to do it, though. BattleB went to his own 7-minute 4th command center. So, the amount of aggression is going to be extreme. This game overall just has a different pace to it as well. Not nearly... oh, God, jeez. Yeah, bad fight there. There's not nearly as abusive a position for a tank push like there was on Gresfon, which BattleB really used to start to pick at Serral, and then eventually rolled into that really fantastic bio play. This time around, not the same deal. Serral also not hitting himself in the face with an early pool. He's just going to be super well set up for this. The Hellbats join in, but there's still Banelings around, and this is being handled expertly.
Yep, Ling Bane just absolutely destroying this setup, and that is just going to be the end of this initial location that BattleB was trying to take over. So just pushes this back, starts 2-2. I mean, on the way to the hive, supplies might be close, but the tech that Serral already has access to is absolutely huge for him. Being able to go to hive so quickly is massive, and he's continuing to push over here as well, just a little bit deeper off of creep. There's a Liberator that's about to siege up. No, it's not going to siege. I thought it was about to come back in and siege up on top of the Spore Crawler, but it actually just went for the Overlord. Not a big deal. Nelly dies, but yeah, that's the one thing that BattleB's got going on the other side. Otherwise, Serral, it's just all about whatever he wants to do. He starts Adrenal Glands. I really felt like with this faster hive, an Ultra Cavern would be kind of a stepping stone to anything else in the game as well. But yet to place that.
And this hive is so extraordinarily fast that even though BattleB is once again playing like heavy bio, well, no, he's not actually. He's got a second factory. I have not noticed a lot of triple factory production. Yeah, he's just playing worse, right? Unfortunate.
It's one of
sorry.
Yeah, he played his heart out in game number 1, and he's kind of exhausted here, it feels like, in game 2, right? You mentioned the supply blocks and the little things earlier, and it's just a case of these things all adding up, and you're right, like, triple for Widow Mine production. We barely feels like we've seen any Widow Mines, and that's part of the reason why. Serral going to eat a big Widow Mine shot right there, though, so does take some shots, does take some damage, but he's going to continue this into a fight as he just swarms on forward, sets off a couple mines with his single Zerglings this time, and he's just going to attack the natural.
Yeah, he sees an opportunity, and he's not wrong. There's really not a whole lot left over, and no more Widow Mines. Now some come forward, but they also were quite late getting Drilling Claws. It finally starts up, but Serral has obviously pushed the Terran all the way back to his side of the map, and Serral is going to continue creep spreading, continue macroing, maybe eventually add on that Ultralisk Cavern, which he still hasn't done. He's just feeling the Link Baneling Viper, and all he has to worry about is some Liberator harassment, I think, on the left and the right. Maybe some creep spread in the middle of the map when they get cleaned up. That's a lot of Queen's Transfuses, though, and the Marines are weak. So that never feels good as a Terran player.
No, that does not feel good as the transfusions all come through. BattleB supply blocked, and Serral's about to pounce on him from every different direction. He's about to have 2-2 as well. That might just be his trigger, right? 2-2 finishes, and now you just go. Sets off one Widow Mine at the front here as well. Goes to the left-hand side, so BattleB's going to have multiple places to look in. And yeah, I think Serral is very ready to turn this game down. I tell you what, he actually didn't use the Banes on the left side either. Just killed off the depots because he saw the chance to with Lings. That works. You know, just let the Lings do the work. Keep the Banelings for later. I like that.
Yep. Setting off all the Widow Mines that BattleB finally got around to producing. They really have not gotten the most brilliant of shots in the last minute, and there you have it. Serral dominating game for